History Scholars, Mrs. Olson here. We are talking about topics that concern our nation. So we have learned about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Now we want to put that knowledge to use with the world that we live in. In this lesson, we'll talk about topics that are considered public issues. Okay, here's our learning target. It reads that you will be able to understand public issues in the United States. So make sure that you have pen and paper ready or another window open to record notes. You are encouraged to stop the video when you need to. That way you can record everything that you feel is important. All right, everyone, here we go. Our first slide is just an image of the United States, and it deals with all kinds of issues or all kinds of political topics that people have Googled throughout our country. And so I'm not going to stay on this very long, but I wanted to show you that there are big topics that are popular depending on which state you live in or go to. Okay, so we're going to get into some of these topics, definitely not all of them, but some of them. All right, so let's start with the definition. What exactly is a public issue? Well, first of all, let's break down the term. Public means people, okay? So it's people that are talking about things. And in this case, I want you to think about public as being across the nation. So it isn't like just going to the grocery store or just your neighborhood or just your state. I want you to think about our entire nation having these discussions, and as we'll learn, sometimes people argue about these topics. Okay, so that's what the public part means. Now, issues is a topic. So that means that there's synonyms. I'm going to use those terms interchangeably, meaning for each other. So anytime I use the word public issue or topic, we're talking about the same thing. Okay? And this note reads that public issues are topics that people across the nation are interested in and they care about. That's why they're talking about it. Now, sometimes people argue about public issues because the topics are very important in their own lives. So for different reasons, these topics are going to be important to different people. Sometimes it depends on geography, like where they live. Sometimes it depends on life experience. Sometimes it depends on their jobs or how much money they make, or how much money they don't make. So public issues are things that people care about, and sometimes the arguments can be heated because they care about them so much. Okay, so sometimes they're talking about them in, say, a college lecture hall or a college classroom. Sometimes they're talking about it at the workplace. Your family might even talk about some of these public issues. Okay? Now, I do hope you're asking this question of yourself or of me. Why are we learning about these public issues in the 5th grade? Geez, Mrs. Olson, I'm not very old. Why are we talking about it? Well, everyone, we want to connect what we've learned about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to actually what's going on in our world right now. So I want you to be what's called an informed citizen. So when you hear adults talking about these issues, maybe you come across it on the internet, maybe you hear about it on TV or the radio, even your parent person's talking about it. I want you to understand what people are concerned about. Okay, so that's what this is. You want to be part of the national conversation. And The number one goal, I suppose, is for you to be an informed citizen. In fact, the state of Washington, in which we all live, that's why you're going to school with the Internet Academy, because it's a public school in Washington. The state of Washington says that all of our students need to be informed citizens. Okay, so there we are. We're informed citizens with lots of knowledge in our head. Moving on. All right, so if we think ahead a little bit, now you guys are in the 5th grade. Let's think about when you are the age of 18 and you can vote. We want you to vote responsibly, and that means that you're an informed citizen. And when you fill out your ballot, that means that when you go to vote and you make your decisions, you can do that with an educated mind. Okay? So I said here, when you turn 18 years old, you can vote. It's one of the greatest responsibilities that we have as American citizens. We get a voice in our government, and the nation needs informed citizens when we vote. All right. Oh, so this is about money, and I forgot to animate this, but that's okay. You can see what this is about. So, money is very important when we are talking about public issues because pretty much every public issue is connected to money, and people are passionate about money. Most of the time because it's about money that is also connected to them. So we as American citizens, we pay taxes to the government, and the government uses our taxes to pay for other things. So that's why Americans can sometimes get heated about the debate and argue about these public issues because essentially it's their money. It's our money that the government is spending, and we get a say in where that money goes to. Okay, so there it is. It's about the amount that the government spends. And I also brought up taxes. The last note reads, if our taxes should go up or down. So depending on what the government wants to spend money on, they can raise taxes in order to do that. And then sometimes they actually lower taxes. And you might hear people say things like, yay, they lowered our taxes. I don't have to pay as much this